90% of contractors are going to have at least one very slow month this year. And most of them are going to blame the economy, they're going to blame the market, or they're going to blame the bad leads. But the other 10% that are going to stay busy all year round, they all do the same 5 things that I'm going to be talking about in this video. The first one is they all have a primary channel that they already have mastered. A primary way of getting jobs that they have gone all in. This can be Google ads, this can be meta ads on Instagram and Facebook, this can be cold calling, this can be door-to-door knocking. It can be any channel, and they all have mastered this one channel to the point where they have reached total predictability. Meaning they have just done it for a certain period of time, and they have done it so well to where they're at a point in which they know exactly how much money they're gonna get back for the money that they're putting in. And that's the thing, they did not just go out there and try like meta ads for like a week and then it didn't work, and then they went out there and tried Google ads, spent $200, it didn't get any projects, and then they went to cold calling and then just kept jumping from one thing to the other. No. They know that all of these things work if you stick to them. So they stuck to one thing. A lot of them didn't get the results that they wanted to get right off the bat, but they stuck with it. They kept spending on it. They kept learning. They kept hiring better people. And now they have enough data to actually trust the return. The second thing is they do not stop marketing when they're at full capacity. They keep the marketing running, and they simply just book people for further and further out. They're just very comfortable telling a homeowner, hey, we can get you in 6 weeks. They don't panic. They don't think they're wasting money. They're always filling up the next month. And this alone is going to change how stressed or how relaxed they feel day to day. And most importantly, the main reason why they don't stop marketing when their calendar is almost full is because they know that any sort of marketing that you do requires momentum. They know that if they're running ads, the person who's qualifying the leads is going to start losing practice because he's not going to be talking to anyone. They know that their sales reps are not going to have as many people to talk to, and so they're not going to be as sharp at the in-home estimate next time they actually start talking to more people. So they know that the real cost of actually stopping marketing is not that they're not going to have work in the period of time where they're busy, but also whenever they actually feel like they're ready to get things up and running again, it's always going to take some time between when they turn back the campaign and when they start getting the results that they were getting before they turned everything off. So they always just keep it running. They never stop selling. The third thing that busy contractors always do is they have any sort of CRM to organize their leads. And not just to organize their leads, but to know exactly what interactions have happened between the company and the lead, and in which stage of the pipeline every single person that has interacted with the business is in. And what this does is this creates a massive safety net, right? Because when things naturally slow down, they don't have to pay for new leads. They can just go back into the CRM, run a reactivation campaign where they're going to text every single lead they had before, because they know there's always going to be someone who wasn't qualified in the past, but that might be qualified in the present. In the same way that someone who might not be ready to buy today might be ready to do it in a few months, which is another reason why to keep a CRM, which is to nurture the existing leads that you already paid for anyways, meaning staying top of mind by sending consistent emails, consistent texts. Whenever you finish a project, you take a picture of it, you send it to people with a similar project in mind so that they can see how you go about your business. And what this does is that person who's not ready to buy today, when they are ready to buy in a few months from now, guess who's going to be the first company to come to mind? The one who's been reaching out with value for the past 6 months. And you would not be able to do that if you didn't have a CRM. Fourth thing that successful contractors do to always be busy is they follow up with every single lead that raised their hand until they either get a yes or a no. They never let a lead go cold by assumption. Most contractors follow up once, maybe twice, and then they just forget about the lead, leaving money just sitting there in the CRM. And the last but not least thing that successful contractors do to stay busy all year round is they know their numbers. They track at least 1 or 2 conversion rates consistently. They know every stage that a stranger has to go through to become a customer and how good they're doing at converting people from one stage to the other. A lead into a qualified lead into an appointment into a close. And so whenever things slow down and they start getting fewer and fewer jobs, instead of just panicking and acting all emotional like 90% of contractors do, they can just sit back, look at the data and be like, our close rate went from 25% to 15%. What's going on in the sales process? Or they can be like, the lead to qualified lead ratio dropped by like 30%. What the hell happened? And so they can pinpoint exactly the bottleneck in their business, making it very easy to go and tackle that issue instead of just guessing. I mentioned a lot of really helpful systems in this video, like the follow-up system with the leads to be able to turn them into clients when they're actually ready, or the reactivation campaign to be able to get revenue without having to spend a dime on advertising. If you want to actually learn more about these systems, you can go click on this video where I break down the most important ones. And if you are either struggling to get more work or struggling to get more of the work that you actually want to get, you can click the first link in the description where you can see a video of myself explaining how my company can help you solve that problem. The videos that I'm going to be creating are good enough for you to be able to solve this problem on your own. That link is just for people who either don't want to deal with it or just want to do it faster. I hope this was helpful. You can give it a like if you did like the video, or leave a comment about anything and I'll make sure to check it out. I appreciate you sticking to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.